Martin from the Philippines. We're here in Real Talk Lifeline. So good morning, guys. For this live, this is gonna be called How Does a Lobster Grow? Or How Do We Grow? So what's this live about? People watching the live or the replay, feel free to comment down below. If you could relate to the topic, don't worry. We'll be getting into it shortly. And if there's any life experience, personal, or maybe you've witnessed it, feel free to share down below your best lessons. Might be able to help me or someone else. So back to the live. How does a lobster grow? So what happened was last night, or should I say past midnight, early morning, I saw this short video, an Instagram reel, and it was of this old man, like with a white-haired beard. His name was Abraham Torsky. So he's an Israeli-American rabbi. And rabbi, by the way, the Jewish term, or in Hebrew, it literally means teacher or master. So he's a psychiatrist specializing in substance abuse. So I had to do some research. He's the author of several books, including Addictive Thinking, Understanding Self-Deception. So this book is about understanding addictive and codependent behavior. This was written back in 1990. So a lot of stuff was already resonating with me, and I just did that research after already seeing that reel or that short video. So what's this about? He talks about how does a lobster grow, and he wasn't interested in it at all. But I guess he was curious enough to find out. And later on, he found out that a lobster, different from us, it's a soft, mushy creature, and it has a shell or an exoskeleton. So unlike us, a lobster doesn't have a skeleton inside or bones. So it has a shell or an exoskeleton instead. And what happens is, as the lobster grows, it will shed that old shell. So why is this relevant or important? How does it grow? What does this mean? Discomfort, when the pressure builds up for the lobster, it can also be a signal for growth. So in nature, that's how the lobster would know or feel or get triggered by nature, right? And know that it's time to actually shed its shell. Now, he said this interesting line. He said, if lobsters had doctors, they wouldn't grow, because the doctor would give them a Valium, meds to numb them, and it would never cast off its shell. There would be no growth. Now, the key here is, if we use adversity properly, then we could grow. So in the case of the lobster, the shell, its exoskeleton, the shell becomes confining. It feels pressure. It feels uncomfortable. So it goes to a safe place. So it hides, or it stays under a rock formation. So predators can't easily kill it when it's vulnerable, right? And then it casts off its shell and it builds a new one. So why is this interesting, or why am I sharing this? That's also how we grow. And that's what I'm discovering. So I just came from a retreat, a sacred healing retreat last weekend. So it's Saturday, Sunday, I just came from a retreat. And what we were doing was release work. So like a lobster, which might sound ridiculous at first, when it sheds its shell, goes to a safe place, it knows, or it has a signal like it's time for growth already. It's time to cast off the shell because it's limiting it already. So us, how do we grow? What I'm learning, again, this is just based on my personal experience, very hard to share this, is sometimes we go through adversity in life. Could be anxiety, could be depression, could be financial, could be a career, like a midlife, quarter life crisis. Sometimes that pressure or that adversity is a sign. It's a symbol or an opportunity for us to cast off that shell. And I'm speaking just from personal experience here. I have witnessed others as well. It is not easy to find a safe place and then cast off the shell in all our vulnerability and then start to rebuild build a new shell or a new growth, like boundary, so we can expand into something greater. So there are different ways to do that. Last weekend, when I went on my retreat, we were doing release work. That's just one example of it. You could do breath work, meditation. You could do different practices. We are open to share that with you. Comment healing down below in the comments if you're interested to do that. So that's the type of work that I have gotten into. So people watching the live or the replay, if you have personal examples as well of how you were able to do that, how you were able to turn that adversity, because we're talking about release work here, or ways you're able to do it, how were you able to use adversity properly and then made that an opportunity for you to grow? Feel free to share that in the comments below so that maybe I can learn from you and other people. We can all learn from each other. So that's it for this morning. I just had this client policy review. Yesterday was a full day, back-to-back meetings. So I shared that in my Counting My Blessings. Feel free to check that out. Also, you could check out my stories if you're curious. You said, Martin, what happened over the past weekend in your retreat? It's up in my stories, Instagram, Facebook. I may share bits as well also in my posts, so just check that out as well. So thank you. I love you, and I will see you next time.